All right, y'all. How y'all doing today? It's another episode of the 11th hour with your boy, Pastor Mike, aka the Michael Davis, also known as 90s number five. Number five. You know what? I love growing up being the baby of the family. You know, my siblings may say something different, but I truly enjoyed growing up as the youngest in the family because there's a lot of perks when you grow up to be the youngest. And there's a lot of downside to that too, growing up being the youngest, because sometimes you get blamed on everything. Everything gets blamed on you. And the reason why everything gets blamed on the baby of the family is because most of the time the baby of the family is loved the most by the parent. And so most of the time the parent don't punish the baby as much because she's loved. You're loved because that's her last or his last. And they just love the last baby of the house. And so, but the siblings are mad at you because you are loved so much. So they blame everything on you. So, but it's kind of cool though. I'm the youngest of five. I got two brothers and two sisters, and man, sometimes they still treat me like I'm the youngest. Well, actually they do. They'll say no, but they do, man. And I do love being the youngest. And my baby girl, my daughter, yeah, she gets loved on way too much sometimes, but that's the perks of being the youngest. But here in the 11th hour, man, that's what it's all about, making good decisions and doing right things. So, my siblings decided to make me the scapegoat for everything that went on when we grew up. But that's cool. That's cool. I'm living with it. But hey, have y'all been enjoying the snow? Man, for sure. I know I have. I've been enjoying the snow, and I'm looking for some more. I don't know about you, but I'm looking for some more snow to hit this area because I love being outside, being in the snow and enjoying it. Because for a long time here in the Murfreesboro area, man, we didn't get a lot of snow for like a long time. I remember when I first joined the military and I left Murfreesboro, it used to be snow like all the time. Like every winter we'd get tons of snow. But it seemed like when I moved back, it seemed like the snow just stopped. So maybe we're in that cycle. Maybe the cycle has come back around that Murfreesboro started getting a lot of snow. So I'm excited about that. And also, I want to put this out there before I go any further. I am sending up prayers to every person. I'm sending up prayers to everybody who is a Cowboys fan, and I'm number one. I'm number one because I feel you, man. Like I'm just so I don't even know what to say. But here's the thing: I'm a fan of sports. I'm a fan of a lot of things. But football. I'm just like this. Look, I'm a fan, but I ain't no erratic fan or nothing. I've seen some crazy stuff on the internet. People busting TVs. I even seen a dude pull out a gun and just start shooting his TV. I'm like, man, come on, really? Is that what we doing? I am not that type of fan, but I am a fan, and I am heartbroken about the Cowboys. It seems like that's just going to be, what it's going to be like for a while because, some people that are in that higher position, just don't seem to know how to let things go and let the coach do what he do. So, but man, for all you Cowboys fans, including me, it's another year, same old story. And, we hear the same thing, well, maybe there's next year. So, that's what we get. So I just want to say that real quick. Let it snow. Let it snow. As I like that jam, right? As a matter of fact, your boy was just in town not too long ago, Brian McKnight. I heard he put down a show too. And then for all you Cowboy fans, man, I'm praying for you. I want to lift you up. I'm going to keep you close to my heart. Because I know it's going to be tough, especially if them Titans do it. Oh, man, if them Titans do it, man, I know I got to hear it from my family because I got some Titans fans in my family. In fact, my brother, he's probably like, man, I think he was out there on the picket line when they first started trying to bring the Titans to Nashville. So he's a true fan. But today, man, I want to talk about some things. I want to talk about our community. And there's some things that's going on in our community. And first of all, I want to say growing up in Murfreesboro back in the day, there was really not a lot to do when we grew up here, or when I grew up here in the Murfreesboro area. There was not a lot to do. And so a lot of us, I don't know if you could say we really got into a lot of trouble, but man, there was just nothing to do. I mean, we had two high schools, Riverdale and Oakland, and that was it. Like that was it. Everybody knew everybody. We knew your name, we knew your mama, we knew your daddy, we knew where you was from, what street you lived on, what house you lived in. I mean, we just knew everything. So if you got in trouble, man, everybody knew about it. Now it may have took a little while for it to get around, but eventually it got around because my mama gonna know your mama, and then your mama's gonna know my mama's grandmama, and then my mama's grandmama gonna know your grandmama, then your grandmama's gonna know my great grandma, and the cycle just goes on. But really, when it came to activities and things for us to do, there was just not a lot here for us to do. I mean, if you didn't play sports, there was just not a lot for you to do. But things have changed. I mean, it's been we're probably up to about 7 or 8 high schools now, and there's just so much stuff going on. But I want to talk about this recent news that we've had, and I'm sure some of y'all have heard about it. Is that Murfreesboro has a $350 million sportsplex that's coming. 350, y'all, $350 million sportsplex is coming to Murfreesboro. And they say it's expecting to bring more than 1,000 jobs, 3 million visitors. 3 million visitors a year to the borough? Dude, that is a lot of people, 3 million. So if you don't have your business idea together, you better hurry up and get that joint together, because 3 million people coming to Murfreesboro, that is a lot of people. So the plan is for Legacy Sports Tennessee to go on a piece of farmland off the Northwest Broad Street near the I-40 interchange. Now, they're saying this place is going to be humongous. So this is what the CEO says. He said this will be one of the largest athletic parks in the world. Okay, he didn't say in Tennessee or in the United States. He said one of the largest athletic parks in the world. This is Chad Miller. He's the CEO of Legacy Sports. He said the new complex, it's going to be sweet. He said it has a whole lot of amenities for soccer, football, lacrosse, baseball, softball, pickleball. I don't even know what that is. Pickleball. I ain't never heard that in my life. So if anybody out there know what that is, let me know. I've never heard of pickleball. And then it says volleyball. So there's going to be a lot for the kids to do. And so they're saying that this location will be the second location that they've opened. The first location opened up in Arizona, and it actually supposed to open up this month. So I'm telling y'all, man, I'm excited about this sportsplex. At first I was a little like, man, come on, do we really need another sportsplex? But this thing right here sounds like it's going to be amazing. It sounds like it's going to bring not just jobs to the area, but man, look at all the different people that are going to be coming and visiting Murfreesboro, which is really going to open up some opportunities for a lot of people as far as business wise. It's going to open up a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of different people. It's going to expose Murfreesboro. So y'all better get ready. I mean, if you ain't painted your house, you better get that joint painted. If you ain't did upgrades on your business, you better get them done, because when this place comes, man, I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to come to this place. And who knows? I mean, with a facility like that, there's no telling who might actually come to town. There's no telling who may come and actually hang out. I mean, you never know. We may have some of the big time athletes come to town. Some of the ones that we see on TV all the time, they may come and just hang out. So I'm excited about that, because here's the reason why I'm excited about it. Because, it gives different types of sports, because with the soccer and the baseball and the softball and the volleyball and the football and the lacrosse and the pickleball, I mean, this gives our kids some opportunity to do some things. And plus, it sounds like it's going to be a space that's going to be big enough that where we're not going to be cramped up and we're not going to be all on top of each other, but it sounds like it's going to be enough room for everybody to kind of go navigate around and do their kind of thing. And so everybody who aspires to be on that next level, you don't have to go to Nashville, Brentwood. It sounds like this is going to be a great spot for things to go. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited for our community, because it's about time for Murfreesboro to get on the map. Like, for real, it's time for us to get on the map, to make a difference and say that, we're not a small town anymore, but, we're on the rise and we're moving and we're getting ready to do some good things. So I'm excited about this complex, and I hope you are too. So with that being said, talking about sports, man, sports is just going to another level. I don't even have time to go into all the things, how sports are not the same, especially from when I grew up and even before I grew up. Sports is just on another level now. Like sports don't even seem the same anymore. I was telling somebody the other day, with all the things going on in college football and how now some of the college, not some of them, but all the college players can, benefit from going to college financially. I would not be surprised if sooner or later our high school players are going to start getting paid in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because we don't want to admit it, but I mean, well, some of us will admit it, but every school is not on the up and up. Some schools do recruiting, and some kids do go to certain schools because these schools have certain things for them and certain things that they can offer them. So I'm not hating, but I'm just saying I just feel somewhere down the line that this thing is going to get really, really ugly when it comes to high school, because a lot of the high schools, they profit in different ways for having certain athletes there, because you get more colleges that come and look at your high school and the scores and the reputation that the coaches get and all that. So, that all that stuff just get really complex. But for the community itself, I mean, it's good that we have these high schools that are really banging it out on the football field and on the basketball court and with tennis and swimming and some of these other sports, especially volleyball is hot, with all these great sports that are going on around Middle Tennessee. Man, Middle Tennessee is a hotbed for athletes, man. Like, we have a ton of athletes that are doing professional sports now. So I'm super proud of my community, man. We've done a lot. But I also want to bring up one thing that happened over the weekend. I don't know if many of you know, but Stewart's Creek lost a really great coach over the weekend. The strength coach over there, Maurice Grooms, passed away Sunday near his car when he went over there to work out. So, we're really saddened as a Red Hawk, man. We just want to, as a community, man, we just want to pray for him and his family. We know that was a sudden loss, and a lot of those football players, man, they lost a great mentor, a man who loved the Lord, and a man who was just trying to do what he could do for the kids and really believed in the kids. So as a community, man, as a school, we lost someone great. And so I love what Bill Spurlock said. He said, I'm saddened by the passing of one of our employees. My thoughts and prayers are with the family. And then, Miss Dr. Harrell says, we are all shocked and saddened to learn of the passing of our well-loved teacher and coach, Maurice Groom. He said, I know all of our staff, students, and community will keep his family in their prayers. So I just want y'all to pray for them. I want y'all to pray for that family and pray for our community, because, there's a lot of things going on in our community, good or bad. There's a lot of things going on in our community, and there's an uproar of some things that are really going on that are really causing us to really kind of examine the way things have been going. I'm not going to go into great detail about those things, because if you live in Murfreesboro, I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure you've seen it. And I'm sure, people have been talking about it. There's a lot of things that are going on in our community right now that need to be put in its proper place. If it needs to be put in its proper place. Whether you agree or disagree with what's happening, if there has been wrong done, then it needs to be done right. It needs to be put in its right place. I'm not saying that we all have the answers to everything that go on, but if things are not the way they're supposed to be, then we most definitely have to make sure we get things done in the right manner, because, we all don't have the answers to everything. But I think if we work together as a community, we most definitely can bring things together. So I'm not saying, whatever's going on is right, and I'm not saying whatever's going on is wrong. What I am saying is that if it needs to be righted, then let's write it. But I also want to remember this. Martin Luther King says this. He said, I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. So if the things are wrong, let's write it. But let's remember, let's write it in love, because if we try to write it in hate, that's just as bad as the thing that was wronged. So Martin Luther King, we could have a whole discussion on that, because MLK, Martin Luther King Day, was just not too long. It was just this past week. And, all of us have our thoughts and feelings about Martin Luther King and the work that he done and how we feel about the work that he's done. But there's one thing that we most definitely can say for true, is that he loved through it all. Like, he put love out front. despite what you were and what you thought and what you went through and what you had, he put love out front. So I'm saying whatever wrongs that are going on here in the Murfreesboro area, the things that's most prevalent that's out there, let's write it. If it needs to be righted, let's write it. But let's make sure we write it in love. Now I know some people say, Pastor Mike, you know, everybody always say do things in love, but what about the things that's being done wrong? Hey, listen, we can't do anything about that. All we can do is move forward. But Martin Luther King, I think, to me, I'm just saying for me personally, I just think he was like one of the greatest examples of love. Like he was one of the greatest examples of love, and he took that thing, man, and he ran with it. So can we not do the same thing? People say, I know I'm kind of bouncing around here, but have you ever noticed like during the holidays, people just love on each other? Man, I'm like people opening up doors for you. People are just saying, excuse me. People saying thank you. People are just super nice during that holiday season. Everybody love the atmosphere and how it feels, and everybody just lovey-dovey. Let me pay for your coffee. Let me get that Big Mac for you. I may give you 5 on the fill up. I mean, man, we just all in love with each other, man. We are just one community. There's not a lot going on. We excuse a lot of things. We don't fly off the handle as much as we used to. Only we do that during the holiday season. And why is that? I mean, if it's because it's the holiday season and because you saying, well, we celebrated the birth of Jesus, if that's what you want to say, or you're saying it's just that time of year that I just love. Well, what about in July? What about in June? What about in August? I mean, does that feeling not still stay with you that long? Because if you're only using the holiday season to do well in your community, come on now. We got to do better. We got to learn to do better, because if you're saying love is leading you during the holiday season, I get that. But can you not let love lead you in June and July and August and all these months where it's hot and you're sweating and you're turning 3 colors because the sun is baking you and your clothes are sticking together and your air conditioner's not working? I mean, I know you're going through all that, but what happened to that love you had just 4 months ago? So as a community, man, we need to start looking at how we can continue to work together. So I told you last week, the last time I did my podcast, I told you I think I want to start with a 3-question deal and just see how many people I can get to respond on this. So I got 3 questions for you today as it pertains to the community. We talked about the sportsplex. I'm excited about the sportsplex. I'm excited about what it's going to do for the community. I'm excited about the opportunity that it's going to bring, because 1,000 jobs. I mean, that's a lot of jobs. A lot of people gonna make some money. And it's going to bring a lot of opportunity to some people. And we also talk about, what happened over at Stewart's Creek. So, if even if you don't know the family at Stewart's Creek, man, just send out your prayers and loves. And I'm sure if you bombard that school with cards or anything like that for the coaches, and they can pass them on to his family, man, I know that they would love to get those cards over there, because that means we just coming together as a community. The other thing is this right here. The big thing that's going on in the community right now that we're trying to work on, that's been all over national news and been in the papers and, been all over TikTok and been all over Twitter. Remember, let's right the wrong if it needs to be righted. But remember, let's do that in love. So here's my 3 questions. I have 3 quick questions. Question number 1 is, what are some things you would like to see in our community that's not here? What are some things that you would love to see go on in our community that's not happening, that's not going on? Sometimes we say things, to each other, or we may say things in conversation, or we may say things over a cup of coffee or over dinner. Some things that you would like to see happen. I mean, so what are some things that you would like to see happen in our community that's not going on at this particular moment? Now, the Sportsplex is going to kind of handle a lot of that, because our youth don't have a lot to do. I mean, they still don't have as much to do as some of the bigger cities where there's a lot going on and the kids can get involved with a lot. Not only just the kids, but the parents can also get involved too. So there's not a lot going on. So what are some of the things that you would like to see in our community? Now, second question is, what are some things that you see that's going on that's good or bad in our community? Good or bad? What do you see that's going on that's good or bad? I mean, when you're walking around and you're driving around, or you're involved in different things in the community, whether it's, you volunteering, or whether you're working, or you're building, or you're putting things together, what are some things that you're seeing that's going on in the community that's good and some of the things that you're seeing in our community that's going bad. I mean, because look, we're not perfect. I don't think I've ever met a perfect community. Shoot, I've never even met a perfect person. I know we try to do that, but as far as it pertains to your community or our community, what are some things that you see that is good and things that are bad? Then the last question is, what ways are you trying to make a difference in our community or your community, whether it's big or small? What are some things you're doing to try to make a difference? And it doesn't have to be, I'm giving $1 million to this organization, or I'm giving $1,000 to this, but it could be just something small. Like I pick up trash in my neighborhood, or I go here and I read to some kids, over here at this place, or, I just, I have an extra $5 every month. And so I lay $5 down at the Burger King or the McDonald's. Or what are some of the things that you're trying to do? Or, hey, I'm trying to organize a march, or I'm trying to make some changes. What ways are you trying to make a difference in our community? So, these questions are really simple, but because when I was writing them out, I was thinking about myself, what would I like to see in the community? What would I like to see for me personally, because of my drive and because of my passion and because of what I love? I would love to see a youth center, like a true youth center here, where we are actually educating our youth. Like every youth doesn't get all the education that they need in school. A lot of them do. I give you that. But some of them don't. Some of them really need a little bit of extra. So I would love to see some type of youth center here in Murfreesboro where the youth come and we're teaching them things like, interviews, how to dress, how to write a resume, how to just be nice sometimes, and give them an opportunity to express themselves, where it's through music. I know Nashville has something on that kind of level, but Murfreesboro is growing. Like we need to see something like that come about right here. The good and bad is that we don't have that. That's one of the bad things. We don't have it, but we need to have something like that. And for me, myself, one of the things, hey, the podcast, 11th hour, and the format that I'm trying to put together where we educate kids about trying to do better things, about making better decisions. I'm trying to get out there and express that and make that something known, not only to the kids, but also the families. Like, we need to make our families better. Like it's a struggle. Like families are a struggle, man. Like keeping families together, it's tough. It's not easy, especially during this pandemic and this day and age, man, where things are just so simplified. So we all need to find ways to contribute. So that's kind of what I want to do. Those are some of the things that I'm trying to do. I may not be the best at it. I may not be the best. I understand that I'm not the best, but you know what? I know I tell my kids, I'm kind of jumping around, brother got ADD. So, work with me. I tell my kids all the time, I ain't the best father and I'm not the worst, so I know I'm not the best at what I'm doing, but I know I'm not the worst either, but I have a passion and I have a drive to make this thing right. So, our community is our community, man. This is where we live. This is where we work. This is where we play. This is where we hang out. This is where we should get along. In your community, it should be a safe place, like your house. Your house should be your safe place. Like you've had a bad day all day. You should be able to go home and your house should be your safe place. Well, you know what? I should be able to go out in my community, because if my community loves me back the way I love community, man, it should be a safe place for me. But I know everybody don't think that way. I know everybody don't have those ideas. I know everybody don't, because if they did, then this would be like what's this movie? Zootopia. It would be a place, man, where everybody just gets along. But even in that movie, it only took one dude to try to make changes in a bad way. So everybody's not always on the same page. So listen, this is our community, man. This is what I love. This is our community. I grew up here. Murfreesboro is my home. I'm probably one of the last few people that are actually from Murfreesboro. It ain't too many of us that are still around from back in the 80s and the 90s when things was hot and things were popping. I'm probably one of the few that still went to Riverdale when it was only two high schools, and we used to go to MTSU for the big rivalry game. Man, we used to sell that joint out, man. I mean, it used to be packed up in there when Riverdale and Oakland played. So now, I was just, I know I'm dating myself, way back in the day before Patterson, the only spot we used to go to was a little joint called the Arcade, some off of University Street. Some of y'all might not know where that is, but that's where we used to go. We used to go to Arcade. We used to go to HP. We used to hang out in the places, man. That's what we used to do. But now, man, things are different, So I just encourage you, man, love your community, and community will love you back. But we have to remember the words of Martin Luther King, man, is that we have to make changes through love and not hate. So I want to leave y'all with this. 1 Corinthians 12, 25 through 27 says this. It says that there may be no division in the body, but the members may have the same care for one another. If one member suffers, all suffer together. If one member is honored, all rejoice together. Listen, this sportsplex is going to be magnificent. It's going to be something awesome for the whole community. So we all need to celebrate. Will it be the perfect, sportsplex? I doubt it. I mean, because like I said, nothing is perfect, but it's going to be a good one. So we all need to celebrate together. The loss of our coach, a loss of a coach at Stewart's Creek, man, we all need to suffer that loss because it was a loss for the whole community, man. Whether you know him personally, whether you heard his name, whether you've seen him, whether it's just because you know somebody goes to Stewart's Creek, or just because of the fact that you know that there are kids that are hurting, that there are families that are hurting, man, we all should suffer together. Not just because of, I don't want to single him out as the only loss that we've had in the city, because we've had lots of loss. So, but if we mourn together and rejoice together, man, it brings us closer together because we will be a community. All right, y'all, that's all I got. Hit me up on social media. Y'all know how to hit me up on social media. On our Facebook page, y'all can go to our, website, which is the Nicholas Foundation, Borough, BORO.org. Hit us up on there. Our Facebook page. We're just the Nicholas Foundation. And you'll see your boy too. Also, hit me up, 615-295-8785. Remember, you don't have to talk to me, but text me and say, hey, man, you doing a really good job, man. Keep that up. Or you can say, hey, man, look, you need to go get you some more training, bro. I feel you, but, you got a lot of work to do. I appreciate that too. Hey, if you like the podcast, hey, make sure you check us out, share it, and subscribe. Help a brother grow this thing. Community, can't do it by myself. Remember, go make movements and not just moments. Go make movements, not just moments. Hey, this your boy, Pastor Mike, the Michael Davis, aka 90s number 5, and I'm out. Peace.